All right, welcome to the C43 estate. Yes. This car and even more its bigger brother, the C63, have gotten quite the criticism by a lot of people, but yeah, is it actually true, or are people just complaining about anything these days? So the previous one, it had a V6 3 liter, which sounded very good. It wasn't the one man one engine formula like the full AMGs, but that was like the 43 was like the line below to have it a little more accessible to people. So to me, it was loud. It's a little bit like the M 235 or the 340, where essentially you have an AMG light in this case. This generation, the 206, it's new that we actually have a one-man, one-engine, and it's the 2-liter turbocharged, similar to the one you'll find in the A45. However, it's not exactly the same. The A45, the engine is placed traverse across the car, whereas the one in the C43, it's longitudinally placed. So creates a whole different dynamic, creates different space, and with different space also comes a different turbocharger, which it's pure F1 style turbocharging. The turbocharger is electronically fed by a small 4 centimeter electronic motor, which doesn't sound like a lot, but apparently it's really impressive. It can spin up to 175,000 RPM, which means it can create turbo pressure at any RPM, even if you're standing still. It'll create turbo pressure, and essentially you'll get a lot more torque from a lot more down. The total output is 408 horsepower, which is a little bit lower than the A45 is. That doesn't really matter to me because this is like the small one. The A45 is the top dog in its range, and essentially you also have a belt-driven generator that can create an extra 14 horsepower on demand, and you'll see it down below here where you have power and charge, and it will essentially charge up the battery to give you small, only minor 14 horsepower boosts, but they're very cool to do. So we're in comfort where we can feel that the chassis is quite firm. It's a real. I've driven this one before, the C-Class chassis, and it's a really solid chassis, especially compared to the previous one. So we'll put it into sport. It does feel like it picks up fast. There's a lot of torque down low, which essentially is thanks to the electronic turbo. So even now I'm off gas, and it'll keep spinning up the turbo to make sure that when I want to hit the gas, I have full turbo pressure. So just careful, because we seem to have come onto accident. Okay. So we'll see. We're at about 70, how nippy it is when you push it. Oh, it goes fast. It goes good. It's quite nice. That's the thing that people mostly dislike with this. It's a 4-cylinder engine, which I know, 6-cylinder is cooler, and even 8 is more cool, but it pushes okay, and it's a fruity turbocharged engine. It's not like a very muffled one. This is like, it's a lot of it is artificial, but you get some pops. I don't know if they're real or not, but yeah. And the car has the 9-speed multi-clutch transmission, which you can find in most Mercedes. It really picks up speed quite well, considering it's still quite a heavy car. But yeah, it feels solid enough, especially for driving day to day. We have this lovely AMG steering wheel, which has the top part has leather, and then the sides where you hold on to it, they are actually Alcantara, which I really like. It's a really soft material. It keeps your hands nice, and hopefully if you don't have too much sweaty hands, it doesn't degrade that often or that fast. But yeah, chassis is great. I mean, when we put it back into sport, the seats, the second generation of the AMG performance seats, and they hold you in so well. And with the previous versions, the thing I had the issues with is that on long drives, like hours and hours, I would start to get a little bit sore in my back. And I've driven a lot of distance with these, and I haven't had any complaints yet. They feel quite hard, especially in the back, but somehow the shape of them is essentially much better than it used to be, and yeah, it's really a step up from the old seats. So we have the 9-speed multi-clutch transmission, which is hooked up to a 4MATIC system. The 4MATIC system, it can split and push up to 69% of the power. Nice. All the way to the back. So it's not a 4MATIC Plus system where you can push everything to the back. That's still only for the top dog AMGs. But yeah, it's still nice that it's a rear bias, because it really feels nippy. A bit of a spot here in traffic. Yeah, it's plenty of. Someone put up the heat way too high. No, but I've always liked to see the C-Class of this generation. Whether you're doing a plug-in hybrid or this, yeah, the engine. I mean, I guess you can complain about the engine, and especially in a car of this format, I have to agree. I would like something more fruitier as well, but essentially with all the technology that's inside this engine, there's inside the cylinder walls, there's this nano slide coating, which is straight from F1, and it reduces friction. It has a closed-off top deck. It's really and the AMG, credit where credit is due, they have really made a special engine with the 4-cylinder. Yes, it's not as brutal as the C63, but it's still a great engine, and yeah, it's a really cool. And yeah, it revs up, it revs fast. Yeah, it's a good engine. I mean, what more can you say? The ride is also very good. I mean, yes, it's stiff, so you do feel the bumps, but I feel like cabin noise is quite limited actually, which is a good thing. And yeah, essentially, this is a great daily car. So yeah, it'll still do decent mileage, but it's more than fast enough for your normal commute. So let's see if does it have a race start, and what does it sound like, because some AMGs, that's a cool sound it makes. I know it's all artificial and everything, but when it's incorporated nicely, I think it's quite cool. So what more? We still have the same screen that we can find in the S-Class, which it's really nice because everything is just at the touch of your fingers. You have your dedicated controls for the AC down below, and then you still have your shortcuts. So, wow, oh, that's really cool, and you can hear the oh wow, it has a really nice induction sound. So yeah, once you go onto it, it's like yeah. I love a good induction sound. It's something that you can play with a lot without getting into trouble with noise emissions from exhausts, which is a problem these days. But yeah, and like it feels like it's initially holding back a little bit, and once it's going, and that's a really nice feeling. We'll try to turn off here, and we'll play a little bit with the buttons down below, because I cannot mention enough how nice it is to just have buttons on the steering wheel that can toggle your shortcuts, so you don't have to push and search here. Talking about other buttons, the buttons on top of the steering wheel, less of a fan of. There's a lot of touch going around, and there's a lot of them, so it could be a little bit more simple. Yeah, once it's going, it's really fast. And there's some nice crackles on the downshift, and essentially it's a really good chassis. We're stuck behind this G-Class, 350 with an AMG badge. Maybe not the best road we've come across. I've been a bit unlucky with getting some roads, but yeah. No, interior quality is really nice. From time to time, I do think Mercedes lacks a little bit in that case, especially with the A-Class. I find the interior of the A-Class to be a little on the cheap side, especially if you're paying for money for like an 45. No. It's nipping enough. It's a little firm, especially on the rear axle, but yeah, nice car, cool car. Yeah, I really like the interior. As said, it all just works, and if only if only AMG didn't like went back to saying like, oh yeah, we're going to stop putting V8s in these because they don't fit, which they probably do, but they don't want to. But there's rumors of it going around. All good and well, but yeah, this really should come with something a little nicer, because it's if you're comparing it to the competition, you have like your M340i, and that's a stonkingly good 6-cylinder, which is still relatively it's quite fuel efficient, because I've done a few times with the 340i where I'm getting like 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Oh, there's a Valor at Aston Martin there. Quite cool. Yeah, so I feel like AMG missed the mark on the engine side. I can't say anything bad about the 4-cylinder in itself, except that it's a 4-cylinder in C-Class. But yeah, I think it suits this car better than it probably does with the C63. Also because it's still like the AMG Light and you can afford it, and the C63 is infamous for the V8. I mean, the naturally aspirated V8 that Rob owns. It's such a character of an engine, and then the next model after it with the turbos, it was a riot. And I feel like that's a bit missing in the new one, but this isn't that. So I think AMG did very well, especially with the chassis. I mean, the chassis is so nice. So I think I'm going to leave you there for today. Yeah, maybe grab a bite, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.